Rightio, so almost a week later we have finally arrived in Birdsville. We spent last night here and now we're headed off into the SIMPSON desert. First stop, the biggest one, Big Red. I'm going to tackle that. Last time I was here I could only get up the chicken track when I had a 3 litre patrol wagon. So 4.2 litre dual cab, a bit more engine mods than that. We'll see how we go. Nat's first time in the desert, you pumped?
I'm so excited. Can't wait to get up Big Red. It's my good luck. That's what'll get you there.
Yeah, that's it. Righto, let's hit it.
Joining us on this trip, we have Dan in the 200 series Land Cruiser, Kellen in the D-Max, Corey in the Prado, and Mary and Macca in the big 6x6 79 series Land Cruiser.
So we're just going to chuck sand flags on and air down here. We're about to cross the first sand dune there, which is Little Red, and then we'll head up and have a go at Big Red. You do need a sand flag to cross the SIMPSON desert, just to ensure that nobody smacks into each other head first as they come over the tops of the dune. So just airing the tyres down. I'm going to run 18 in the front and about 22 in the rear. It's kind of a guess at the moment, so we've put these new 7-inch trims on. I've had 15 since I've had the patrol. Sort of changes the pressures and the way that the tyre bags and bellies. So it's a bit of a gap. We'll just kind of see how it goes. We need to let more air out, we can. Only takes a couple of seconds. Bit of a hassle, but here's what it is. So if you've never been to the SIMPSON desert before, the very first thing you'll come to is a sand dune called Little Red. And it's a big sand dune, but the crossing is actually pretty easy. The sand at the moment, in particular while we're here, is quite hard packed after all the rain and stuff like that. And there's been a reduced amount of traffic due to that rain. There's not as many people crossing the desert as what there normally would be here. So it should be no drama. And then you get to the top and you get amazing views like this. How bloody good. Then when you get to the bottom of this sand dune, we take a right and we head over to Big Red. So I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, that it's actually the same sand dune. So we cross it at a lower part, and then we head down and we'll cross it, or head up on top of it I should say, at a bigger part. You confident?
Oh, not really.
We'll soon find out, won't we? We're confident, fellas?
Oh, no.
Not at all.
I couldn't make it last time.
At least if you say no and then you make it, you'll be like, oh, what a surprise.
Makes you feel better.
Being the most experienced desert traveller, Corey's up first to have a crack at Big Red to show the rest of us how it's done. Way too easy for the little Prado. Anyone would think he'd done this before. Dan's up next to put the big Petty 200 to the test. With all the power that the V8 Petty's got, he makes it look easy. Having tried and failed in the past, Kellen's a bit nervous about attacking this one. Let's see how he goes. He goes super close, but just loses traction in the back end and spins the wheels, spitting sand and dust everywhere.
Righto. Sunnies are on.
Up next, it's Macca and Mary. Will the big 6x6 Land Cruiser have the guts and grunt to get up the hill? Let's find out. Oh, he goes super close, but probably missing a few extra revs there just to get the big weight of the 6x6 up. That's not going to stop him though. Here's round 2. That's the way, a few extra revs and she does it with ease.
Righto, so big red, done and dusted, pretty stoked. Like I said last time I was here, the little 3 litre just didn't have the berries to get up there, but this time I just absolutely punched it. Probably had too much power, if anything, going on. I probably didn't have to have as many revs as what I did, but got the job done, so that's the most important thing.
Unfortunately, it's not too far into our trip before we come across our first mechanical drama.
Running down here.
So, careful, everything's red hot in there. Bro.
Yeah, I know. Where my hand is here.
Oh, I think I know what that is, Dan.
What's that, mate?
So, as you'll see, I'm actually staying away from the action, and the reason for that is I have no idea what I'm doing. I've got enough of an idea to sort of get me out of trouble if I have to, but as far as fixing petrol 200 series Land Cruisers on the side of a track, I'll leave that to these fellas because they're the experts.
Oh, poke your head. Yeah, see that?
So I just wonder if it's because your tank's so full and you're coming up and down dunes, it feels expanded because it's warm out here and it's just got nowhere else to go, so it's going out over the breather.
170 litres there instead of 45.
Yeah, and now things are warming up and you're coming up and down dunes. Yeah, it's sort of stopping. Yeah. So Dan's pulled up because he had a bit of a leak coming out what seemed to be near the chassis rail. Is that dying?
Yeah, that wasn't me.
So we may have a new issue. So Dan's pulled up because he had a bit of a leak that looked like it was coming out of the chassis rail. It's a petrol and we've just put a long range tank in it, and we think because the tank's extremely full and we're out here in the heat coming up over dunes, the fuel may have expanded somewhere and it's bled off into the chassis rail. We're hoping.
We're just coming through Eyre Creek now in the SIMPSON Desert. I think it's probably about 20 k's in. This is bone dry through here. It's a bit washed out and rutted, so hard as a rock, not flooded, easily passable. Never would have thought I'd come to the SIMPSON Desert and be using the articulation of my suspension. But here we are, flexing in the simo.
continue our journey west towards Popple Corner, up and over what seems like thousands of dunes. Luckily for us, this part of the crossing is quite easy and comfortable on the vehicles. It's not too rough and doesn't appear to have seen too much traffic. After a relatively short day on the track, we pull up and find a great campsite in one of the many perfect locations out in the desert. It's quite impressive to sit back and watch Macca and Mary set up their Travelander camper on the back of the 6x6. With the camp set up, it's time to light a fire, break out the toys, and then relax for a beautiful night under the stars.
Everyone look out, your cooking is being judged right now.
Secretly judged.
Thanks to our sponsors Light Force Performance Lighting, MSA 4x4 Accessories, Airbag Man, and Install by Stu.